I'm Parson Michael Malley, and this is Dharma Talks from Sacred Ground. Reflections and meditations brought to you from the Sacred Ground Community Church and Sangha. Today's Dharma Talk was originally shared on January 31st, 2021, during our Sunday morning Sacred Ground service. As we were doing that meditation, I found myself thinking a little bit about our planet Earth, and I kind of put it at an angle because we're at an angle going around the sun, and how everything we're talking about is also connected at this level, that those sheep start lactating in Ireland way back when, just as the Earth gets to about this point in its annual journey. And I think there's a part of me that, I look at the snow out there and I go, oh my gosh, how can you talk about spring coming, or spring being here, this idea from Imbolc, when there's all this winter, this snow right here. And I think that's me slipping into my linear thinking and forgetting that I live within circles and cycles. Even if we think, as we traditionally do, of the the spring equinox in March as the turning of the year and spring, it's not that one day there's winter and then poof, then the next there's spring. We're in this continual evolution. We're in this continual movement. The spinning ball and the spinning circle, with our solar system spinning around the great Milky Way galaxy and this expansive universe. And as we were talking about and visualizing the cherry tree, I found myself thinking about, Thomas Traherne, back in the 1600s, he was watching every year when the trees would bud and blossom and bear fruit. And I was thinking of Psalm 104, and the psalmist, we don't know exactly when this was written, maybe 2,500 years ago, maybe 3,000 years ago, and is speaking of the cedar trees and the storks and the wild goats. Well, those cedar trees and storks and wild goats, they're not the ones that are here right now. They're the ancestors. And yet they are the ones that are here right now, right? Because we're all connected. And this lovely way that Thich speaks of Father, Son, and of course you may have heard the parallels between Thich Hanh just a couple of years ago and Thomas Traherne centuries ago, and this psalm thousands of years ago, and St. Francis, and this invitation that children offer us all the time. We happen to have a 6-year-old granddaughter, a 3-year-old grandson, and another little one that we're still waiting for, who's coming any day. But I imagine that when our grandchildren got up this morning, they looked out and they saw this snow, because it just started snowing around 11 p.m. And they were like, wow, let's get outside, let's go play. How many of us at age 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 look outside and go, oh, damn. It's cold. Oh, it's rainy today. A Tibetan Buddhist teacher says, when we have no sense of a wide open sky above and a lush green earth below, it becomes very difficult to expand our vision. In the last 50 years or so in America, we've talked a lot about how people have to love themselves. That is awesome. But one of the problems is that sometimes we think of ourselves as separate from that cherry tree. Separate from the sun that's in our heart. Separate from the sea. Separate from the snow. Traherne says it so beautifully. He's like, what is heaven? Heaven is to live in gratitude for what you need and have. And what is hell? To not be grateful for what you have and need. How many of us can slip into, oh, it's so hot, or it's so cold, or it's so... Thank goodness for this little range of temperatures that we have on this planet. And of course, that's all at risk. My invitation to self, and my invitation to each of you, is to offer a different story than this idea that the sun is separate from us, or those cherry blossoms, or that cold air. I think sometimes when we put down the weather or put down the seasons, in some ways we're putting down ourselves. We're denying a part of the necessary part of what we are. If you have kids or kiddos in your life, they will probably be willing to help you. We have a dear friend, and she says it well. She says, there's no such thing as bad weather, there's just bad dressing. So you don't have to be out there, shivering. Put on some warm stuff. If you're in the cold climate as we are right now. And get out there and play. And that play can just be the smile on your face as you're walking down the path. It could be building a snow fort, but Jesus often says, if they have but eyes to see. I don't understand the world and the universe and God. And if any of you do, you can explain it to me. But I do know this. It's pretty amazing that we're here. It's pretty incredible that we can still hear the words of a psalmist who spoke thousands of years ago. That we could still get the ideas from St. Francis and I'll say St. Thomas Traherne and St. Thich Nhat Hanh. And the saints who are our children, our nephews, our nieces, the kiddos in the neighborhood who are all there to show us, wow. This thing of the tree changing that Ollie spoke of, this ain't something that just happens now, 2021, 2022, 2023. This has been happening for a long, long time. How amazing to live in this. What a blessing. Happy Imbolc. I'm Parson Michael Malley, and you've been listening to Dharma Talks from Sacred Ground.